1. You are listening to episode 69 of the Paper Player Podcast. I'm your host, Tony, and I'm joined with JB, Jeff, and Josh. Said they were better than us, and they were actually angry from our fight night results, so they're not here today.
Yeah, they're busy sorting their bulk, trying to find ways to stop Temple Bell combo right now.
Oh, man. The spite that I heard from them made me laugh. But yeah.
I don't think Jeff had a lot of spite. Josh, on the other hand, ooh.
Yeah, well,
it's getting wild.
He made the mistake of picking a general that was like he had a CDH general, so we had to like target him. So and that's kind of what we did. He was like, I was able to produce 7 mana off one card. I'm like, all right, well that's a problem.
Franco's pretty close to that too, though. So that's the problem. It's like me and you are just like, yeah, I got my general who doesn't do a whole lot, and
yeah. The general that not the general, but I had Intrepided Hero, and when I played it, I just didn't say anything, and I knew not to say anything because it was going to say like kill target Granko, and it just tap destroy target creature with power 4 or more. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to cast this, and hopefully nobody thinks of it. And no, because I was the crappy white deck, nobody cared. But
that's so funny.
Yeah. So last week we did our fight night for Classic Tribes, and JB, is that 2 in a row now that you've won?
Oh baby, you better believe it. I'm getting there.
Was one with
You think I'm a bad EDH player? Let me show you who's boss.
You've been rocking 5 colors so much, now you know the nonsense.
Yes.
That's freaking great, dude. Yeah, but
you're gonna talk about the pre-cons that we're gonna be picking up soon.
Yeah, we'll get into that, and we should just start. Like, I don't know why you don't get first pick. It doesn't make sense. You should get first pick. I should get second pick. Then Jeff. Then Josh, because I Angel's Grace to survive one turn. And that beat out what's it called?
Oh yeah, someone explained to me. So in the game, at one point, I was temple belling everyone out with Mind Over Matter.
Yep.
And Tony played Angel's Grace to live for one more turn.
Mm-hmm.
Someone explained to me that even if you cast Teferi's Protection, because Temple Bell does not target, it would still force you to draw a card, and it doesn't say you can't lose the game. It just says your life can't change, so you'll still lose.
Yeah. I read Teferi's Protection. I was just like, oh yeah, this doesn't actually stop me from dying from drawing. Yeah, I was dead.
And I was like, when I was talking to the guy at F&M, he's like, yeah, you can still get around that. Like, you could also found out where you could do weird things against Teferi's Protection. Like, if you skull crack the person who's casting it in response, you can swing at them, and because damage can't be prevented, you can swing and just kill them.
Yep.
You just have to deal the full amount of damage in that single hit that they need to lose.
Right. I mean, they can't, like you said, you can't prevent the damage. Is it Skullcrack or is it a Tarkus command? Because they changed Skullcrack's like either players can't gain life, and then a Tarkus command.
No. So Skullcrack reads, damage can't be prevented, but the way Teferi's Protection reads is your life total can't change. So the damage still happens, but your life total doesn't change. But if you can deal like 20 commander damage in one hit, you beat them.
That's great.
It's super weird.
It's one of those weird interactions. I think what I needed to do, and you drew Library of Lang before I drew Silence. If I would have cast Silence, I could have prevented you. As soon as I was going to get a spell that was something other than Angel's Grace, I was going to cast it, which is either Disenchant or what's it called? Disenchant wouldn't have mattered, I don't think, at that point, because you can just, on the stack, discard another card, keep going.
Let's be honest, I screwed up to begin with. A buddy of mine who originally, we used to play Temple Bell combo a long, long time ago in Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
He messaged me and he said, why didn't you tap down his 2 lands before going off?
Yep.
And that, because Mind Over Matter can target anything, and tap and untap anything.
Yeah,
so
I guess
just been like, get your 2 lands.
Yep.
All right, now I'm going.
Well, I float the mana, and then you go to your next main phase, and that's that.
Yep, exactly.
So JB wins the fight night with Temple Bell, insert King of the Hill, ring-a-ding-ding here.
Yeah, and if you did watch, and you're upset that I didn't win with a Merfolk, I will let you know that I could have went to go get...
Thassa's Oracle?
Thassa's Oracle, yeah, because it was in the deck.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to dig forever. Doesn't really matter.
You had his log. I have no spite with it. You do what you got to do. Yeah.
I love it. Josh was so upset because
he died naturally.
We made him block.
Yeah.
But the blocks did matter to a degree until you convinced me they didn't.
I was like, just whatever. That's why I play. That's anytime I play kind of any form of EDH or anything. I'm not there to win. I'm there to manipulate the table. I'd like to win. It's just never gonna happen because I always play trash tier decks.
So your fun way of playing the game instead of winning is
somebody
messing with everyone.
somebody left the table as upset, so that was good. That's a win in my book. And then
Sure.
I was able to stop Krenko, and I could have continuously stopped him, so that was nice too. That Blasphemous Act was just like nonsense. When he cast it, I was like, what's going on here? But so be
I
it.
was happy.
Yeah, I mean, your general, your general, and my general literally did nothing. They don't do anything.
It did help me a little bit because I had that card that gave me it gave me draws whenever I attacked with a merfolk.
Yeah.
And no one wanted to shoot my stuff because it just cost them 2 mana to do it, and they didn't want to do that. Like, could you have? Sure, but there were bigger threats at the table, and like, you didn't want to spend the 2 mana.
Right. All right. So
I will give a shout out to someone that I really, really agree with in our Facebook comments, who, when we showed the clown card, said, "Oh, what are you talking about? EDH is just 4 clowns sitting at a table already."
Yeah.
I like that comment. That was a good one.
That is a banger of a comment. What? Jeff just said our thing is wrong. I don't believe him.
Mess something up?
Oh, we're still going. Just keep it going. I just gotta change his name. But dude, there's so much stuff happened kind of in like that 1 week span. When the Warhammer decks came out, we had some pauper bans. Standard's not gonna get played at the Pro Tour, even though it's a really good standard format. Unfinity, people are getting heated about it because nobody wants to play with like stickers and such. So a lot of stuff is kind of happening, and people are just upset. And
So I guess the most interesting thing to me is, why are they not bringing Standard to the Pro Tour?
We'll go right into that. It's because of Alchemy. They're doing an Alchemy one.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
Yeah, it's really rough, dude. I don't really know.
Are they seriously forcing pros to spend a bunch of money on MTGA in order to play?
It's something like that. So this is the last, like, I think PT that's going to involve like the pro players, or it might be another one after this. But the fact that it's Alchemy when the standard set that people are ranting raving on, people actually enjoy a lot. So that I can't believe that's the case, but what a decision that they made. It makes no sense to me. Like, there's somebody there that there's somebody there that's just like, we've invested all this time in Alchemy. We need to make this last hurrah to get people to play Alchemy, and hopefully this gets people excited. And immediately the backlash from the community is like, what are you doing?
So what you're telling me is somebody on the back end who's in charge of Alchemy is about to get fired for making a terrible product that no one wants to play.
I don't know if anybody's going to get fired.
And now they're trying to make it worse. Someone's going to get some shade thrown at them in the company.
Yeah. I mean, so the idea of Alchemy was like standard gets stale. Therefore, we like try to insert people that want to play with their standard cards alongside these cards. But the thing is, the Alchemy cards are just so wonky and crazy. All Alchemy should have would have been just like a live update to standard cards and just play like a fixed standard. If it ever got super stale, like fix Oko, fix Uro, whatever they need to do to like hot fix these cards. But instead, they were like, let's do all this random stuff and let's be Hearthstone. Hearthstone already does that, and it's way better of a client than Arenas.
They've been working on it for way longer, right?
Yep.
You know, it's like, how do you compete with something that's been doing it for years longer than you have?
Yeah. We also have a huge connection with like our cards and online for like 99% of probably all players. Like there's maybe a few MTG, I shouldn't say a few, maybe 2%, 5%. I don't know what the number would be of people that only play Arena and Arena only. Like, I just don't see that being like the truth, you know? Mm-hmm. Unless you're not willing to go to like an F&M or something along those lines. But either way, bad idea. I don't understand why. It should just be standard because people love this standard format. People want to like show off their Liliana. There's a mono blue deck. There's variants all over the place. So, all right. So Pauper, I have not paid any attention to Pauper. This Monday, it looks like they had a ban list because everybody that was playing Pauper was unhappy with it. They were just like, this format's boring. And there's 4 cards that got banned. They're all from the D&D set. The Adventures of the Forgotten Realm. Is that the original one? Anyways, the most recent D&D set where they introduced the ability called Initiative all 4 of these cards are commons that had initiative, and apparently the whole format was dark grit into your initiative card and then just kind of steamroll advantage out of initiative for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I was about to say, with initiative, it's just a little too much. Like, you just get a little too much out of it. And it's crazy to me that given how long Magic's been around and how many good commons and uncommon, well, it's only commons, right?
Yeah.
Commons there are, that there wasn't anything that has more value on the field than getting into that dungeon.
Yeah. I mean, the old dungeons were bad and they had like other dungeons. It's just the specific one with initiative was just like substantial card advantage. I haven't even read it at all. Like, I don't know what any of these cards do. I remember looking at initiative for like a second because I think we did a fight night with those. Do we have decks from the D&D set? I think we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And one of us had the initiative deck, and either way, it was terrible. But the only thing I will say about this is these Pauper committee, this team of people that they have that are really deeply invested in the format, the fact that they're able to, like, it's not so much a knee-jerk reaction because it's been going on since that set's been out, and one set has come out since then. They've all identified, like, this is bad for the format. Let's get this out of here because it's not fun. This should be something, they should make a committee for Legacy, and they should make a committee for Vintage for what it's worth. I don't know why they don't just hand over the reins to the community because it's not like Wizards cares anymore.
It's such a hard thing for me to say yes to, though, even as like a hardcore Legacy player, because you look at something like, I've been very, very negative on the EDH committee, like whatever they're called.
Oh yeah,
the name of them right now.
The rules committee.
I've been very negative on the rules committee and the way that they treat the format.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's just because I come at it differently than they do, and so I would be scared that someone would come into Legacy, and there's still things I think are really, really good right now in Legacy that shouldn't be there.
Right.
We've had the discussion 1,000 times. We don't need to again.
The day's done.
Even though the one person who isn't here to defend it.
Yeah.
But I'd be afraid that they change something else that would take away what I enjoy about the format.
Sure. So I guess where it comes,
how do you pick people? How do you pick them?
It would be so what they did with the Pauper people, where it was purely they found like the top players of Pauper that played on Magic Online, and then the people that were the biggest streamers of Pauper. So they went and relegated people that are like, you play this as your mainstay format, we're going to target you. And there are plenty of people that they could target for like a Legacy standpoint. But if we look at like the Legacy queues, you can clearly identify that the same guy who, like, the same 5 to 8 people that are top trophying every single season, those are probably the people that are the most invested and have the pulse. Now there's other things you can add to that, obviously, and it would be overseen with like what Wizards does with Gavin Verhey, who's the WotC representative. So nothing goes through without him giving like his stamp of approval. But it's just like, hey, I'm going to listen to the outcries. The downside is it can affect, like, Pauper doesn't affect sales, whereas Legacy affect sales. Like if they were to ban Force of Will and the next set has Force of Will in it, well, that's going to reduce the amount of Force of Wills or the amount of product that gets sold because the Mythic slot has a banned card. Now I know that's a little bit extreme, but think of it that way.
Well, that's the other problem that comes with that then too, is suddenly you have like the rules committee, you have them connected to WotC in a way that they may make decisions based on what Wizards is going to do.
Right.
And it's not so much for the health of the format as it is for Wizards.
Yeah. I mean, nobody gets angry when a Pauper, like a common, gets banned. You're just like, okay, what's the next best thing I can slot into this position?
Yep.
But,
or what deck should I switch into? But it's a little easier in that format, just because when you look at Pauper, most of the cards are very, very cheap. When you think about Legacy or EDH, when you're talking about higher level play EDH, you're suddenly looking at possibly banning a card that ruins an entire deck that's worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if now you have to go from Bant to, Volcanic Islands or whatever, so you have to go from Tundra, Trops, and Savannas over to Volcanics. Well, that's a huge shift in like just cost.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like what they're doing with Pauper. I wish something was replicated for Legacy, just because, there's a clear indicator that Legacy is not in the best state, even though Minsk and Boo is like kind of like the new upcoming thing. But as it stands right now, just it's Murktide.deck, and if you're not playing Murktide, like I feel like your deck is so weak.
See, that's what's really strange is when I go to play MTGO, there is a ton of combo on there, like a ton.
Yeah.
Like I play combo all day.
So
it's like half of my games.
It's funny.
And I play like Delver maybe, once every league or something, on average.
I wonder why that is. And
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think it's just people have the ability to branch out more and try things.
Yeah.
So they want to be goofy. Like, I won't lie, I don't play combo very often, and I went and played that. I think I talked about it last week. I went and played that
Kamigawa. Yep. With Riddle Smith and the construct from Kamigawa, and then it's just essentially a Lion's Eye Diamond deck that combos with that card.
Yep, where it goes into exile with that card, and you get to play a bunch of free stuff.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and I did okay in one of the leagues.
Right.
I went 3-2, but normally, maybe at an FNM level, I would play that for fun if I had the cards.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to because I just don't have those cards.
Yeah, dude. It's probably not.
I think it's just people got the option, so they do it.
Dude. Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, sooner or later we might get a rules committee for Legacy, and I'm not gonna throw my hands up in the air and start yelling about how Legacy is ruined because of it. Because who knows? Maybe they will do what I want. Maybe they'll do not what I want, but what I think is good for the format. But I guess I can't really judge that until we get a chance.
Right. So, I mean, Legacy from an FNM standpoint is perfect because there's a huge variety, and it's all kind of the same people that you meet on a monthly basis, at least from what we experience. But it's never going to be a Pro Tour format, so nobody ever has to worry about Volcanics becoming $5,000 because it's the Pro Tour deck or whatever you want to call it. So we'll never have to experience that. I mean, we have a yearly Eternal weekend where all that kind of stuff kind of breaks out. So, but that's a once a year event. I don't think anybody's getting really angry about showing up there with their foiled out, junk deck and then just getting raffle stomped by a couple Murktide players.
Mm-hmm. Have we seen a change in pricing for cards in Pioneer yet?
What do you mean?
Has there been a drastic shift upwards in price for old Pioneer cards?
I haven't seen anything that's too drastic. I've been I already own all of Pioneer because I have shocks and all that, so it's really just me getting new cards. For example, I still need 2 Ledger Shredders. Well, those are $35 a pop, and if there's a couple cards that don't exist in the format that I get played in Standard that you could one day Meat Hook Massacre. It's $54 Mythic from the new set, but realistically, nothing's crazy. Things did jump. Your Shocklands are on average $15 to $25. But it's nothing too crazy.
Emperor's still only $25.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
No, I mean it's going to get progressively more expensive because less people are cracking Neo Kamigawa, especially now that we have Commander Boulder's Gate. Yeah, Boulder's Gate's not really people aren't really cracking that set too much. It's more of a draft experience. Double Masters is pretty much selling out everywhere. I don't see them at Targets or Walmarts anymore. And then we just had Dominaria United, which everybody's doing the chase, try to open up a tabernacle.
In one of the Discords I'm in, someone opened up a tabernacle.
That's so sick.
It's crazy.
I saw a post today on Twitter about you need to do a video or it's fake. It's dude, who cares? Why are you so mad that someone's posting their tabernacle?
Yeah, and I was about to say, at that point, what's the clout they're gonna get? 2 minutes of fame and that's it.
Yeah. You faked it. It's cool. They faked it.
Great.
Yeah. All right. So we had a kind of a few things that happened. One, all the Warhammer stuff got all the deck lists are out, and man, they are full of EDH gas and potentially some legacy gas. And then there's discussion that this might be the new reserve list, and that if you don't buy in on these decks, you won't have the chance to. And then obviously Unfinity is where it's live. It's spoiler season as always. More Unfinity cards coming, and some people are upset because the uncards that feel like they should be uncards are actually legal in Legacy and Commander, and they can cause headaches. And I love it. I love the idea of the chaos.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So for a long time, you've heard me. I've been like, don't mess with Legacy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've been very upset about weird new mechanics coming into Legacy.
Yep.
And honestly, I think I'm starting to come around on it.
Yeah, I just let it. The format is what it is. If I have to end up buying a card that revolves around stickers, that's what will happen. Like, that's fine. I think it just if you're angry about your brainstorm format being tampered with, well, maybe you should really reach out and be like, uncard shouldn't be allowed. But we'll go into that a little after this. I just want to iterate some of these Warhammer decks. So there's 4 different decks, and it's a collaboration of Warhammer 40k. There's 4 different like creature types, which is Tyranid, Inquisitors, Astartes, and then Necrons, which are all unique creature types that don't have anything to do at all with Magic the Gathering.
Do you know anything about Warhammer?
I mean, when I was like 12 or 13, I had minis, like the little figures, and I bought a paint set. What I ended up doing, because I got sick of painting, is I just dunked them in the paint, and then tried learning the game with a friend of mine. We were both like too stupid to learn the game to be effective at it, so then we ended up taking the pieces and putting them in a microwave and watching them melt.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my experience with Warhammer 40k.
I know nothing beyond rolling dice and moving guys and building armies.
Yep. So
I knew a couple of the like, I don't know if they're gods or what, but I knew a couple of the gods' names, and I don't see any of them here.
Yeah.
So I don't know what deck I'm gonna pick for our EDH fight night.
Dude,
that was gonna be what I was gonna pick. Was like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, he might be in the deck, but like I'm assuming like Warhammer 40k, there's not just like one set. It's similar to Magic, where like every year they come out with X amount of minis, and then they have their I assume they have a standard set. That way you get your people who play Warhammer to constantly buy minis. Like because if
you're making a lot of assumptions here.
I mean, there's no way that the same pieces are being bought year after year. Like maybe like the generics, but either way, there's painting contests every single year that they hold at like Gen Con for this stuff that you can win awards on, and they actually give you like from a buddy of mine's uncle would submit these things, and then one year he took second place, and he gets a piece that's unique to him and him only that he can only use, and it's a grayed out piece that he can design. It's a giant piece. I don't know if it's any good, but it's essentially unique to him and him only. That's like some of the cool stuff
cool.
what Warhammer does. But
makes me think of the didn't they have a world champion card back for Magic a long time ago?
I don't remember if they had like a specific one.
5-mana world champion card.
Yeah, that might have been like an exclusive, like one of only, but that was never for like tournament play. I think it might be something like that. But every single card, even the reprints, have brand new art, so that's like really awesome with this set. There's a unique creature type, which I just listed the 4, and that's going to be really bizarre because for any future reprints, they'd have to print Necron into something else, or if they wanted to do like the what they did with Stranger Things. Stranger Things just had like a vanilla creature types, like human, wizard, whatever you want to call it, human. So when they were able to make like MTG versions of it, there was no issue with that. Well, to make an MTG version of Amatek, the Stormlord, it's got to be a Necron, which is just really bizarre.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, so there's a whole. I mean, everything's got new art. It's got that every common and uncommon. They all have the timestamp. Like even cards like Swords to Plowshares, like the reprints look really good.
Triangle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the triangle stamp.
Super weird.
Yeah, like Soul Ring's not like a big one. I don't think anybody cares about this, but like for example, like that, like I want this Swords to Plowshares. It's just a tank with like a thing covering it, like just it being halted or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of the Blywood's Dark Rituals in here, so that's gonna be like a desired one.
Pain.
Yeah.
You know that magic card.
Dread Return, Living Death, Go for the Throat. It's been downshifted to common. That's been downshifted to common from uncommon, so you can play this in Pauper now, which is pretty big. Abundance, Hardened Scales.
In Pauper, do you have to play the common version?
No, you can play any version of it. You can play it like if there was it was a rare one, you can play it. But again, these all like other like these are 4 different arcane signets that are pretty much unique. This got like the most special treatment because every single card is Warhammer themed, and like that's going to be exclusive.
Crazy.
It's going to be exclusive in itself. So I mean, obviously the idea is to lure in Warhammer players to go and buy their favorite. This is the army I play. I want to go play this deck, but man,
I mean, I won't say that it's a bad idea because, again, we've talked about this on here before.
Mm-hmm.
The people treat EDH nights like board game nights.
Yep.
And it's like, let's play 2 or 3 games in the course of like 4 hours and just like sit around and talk and like have fun.
Yep.
And like draw out the game sometimes and like goof around.
Yep.
So I could totally see people who are like, all right, I don't want to get all my figures together tonight. Let's just kind of have a chill night and play this instead of a board game.
Yep. So there's a few cards in here that I could see that have like serious legacy potential. One of them being a miracle card. It's a white 4 for a 5/5 lifelinker, and it miracles for a 1 and a white. So you can flash in a 5/5 lifelinker at foot, and then when it dies, exile the top 6 cards of your library, and you shuffle that card into those top 6, and then you randomly put them on top. So it just keeps coming back. I wonder if that's going to be like something considerable. It has miracle, so it's always like one of those like, oh, you could just end a turn, brainstorm, put a 5/5 lifelinker into play for 2 or for 3 mana total with a brainstorm.
How much does Entreat cost?
Entreat is white X.
Okay.
So this is just white, and the thing is like
this will never beat Entreat.
So it's just somewhat. I may agree to that, and the only reason I would go against Entreat is Entreat requires a huge mana investment, and this in the case of like you having to block something and then it dying from combat, coming back over and over is something like pretty real.
The only way I could see this working out is if you were to put it in an aggro white deck. Well, because if you're playing control, you're just gonna play Entreat as your option because it's way better. You'll get way more out of it.
Yep.
So if there is like a blue-white aggro deck at any point,
yeah,
or blue-white axe,
sure,
I could see this finding a spot.
Yeah,
because a 5/5 for 2 is not bad at all at instant speed if you have 3 mana up. But anything beyond that, I don't see it seeing play.
Yeah, it's just like miracle considerations. Always like I raise an eyebrow and I go, huh? It's lifelink's severe. It's huge. It's a huge body.
Well, that's why I compared it to Entreat, because a lot of the times you're thinking about where you can play it, and Entreat is good for control decks because they can just dump all the mana into it one turn and make a bunch of guys and say, do you have an answer next turn or you lose?
Right. I mean,
this guy does not make you lose next turn.
No, it doesn't. It's one of those things. And then they have another one that's like a 3/3 flying vigilance that has the ability squad, where you can pay 2 additional mana to make copies of it, and it also has miracle for the same cost. It's a 4 mana 3/3 flyer, and then or 2 mana 3/3 flyer with vigilance. So that's like pretty mediocre. I wouldn't play that, but I think I
know like dies to Doomblade is a stupid argument,
right?
But if you get 3 flying angels and they kill 1, you still got 2.
Yeah.
If they kill this, sure, it shuffles in, but it'll still take some turns to get there.
Yeah, this one just plays like a worse Entreat the Angels. There's one other card I think from this set that could make a huge impact on Legacy, and I think it's really good. It's Poxwalkers. It's black and 2 for a 3/1 with Death Touch, and then whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, return Poxwalker from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if you have 4 of these in your graveyard and you Snapcaster Mage, play Brainstorm, all 4 of them come back.
It also just works in general with casting stuff like Hogak from the graveyard.
Hogak, it works with Expressive Iteration, the card that you cast from exile, all that stuff. So like this is a card that's
it's a spell. Okay.
Yeah, it's anything. So you can do like Gravewalker shenanigans where you like sack 3 of them to like zombie bombardment, sack, and then bring back Gravewalker, all of them come back, sack them all again. Or not zombie bombardment, goblin bombardment. Like this is the card that's like a combo engine. It plays like Vengevine, except the opportunity to cast it is comically easy. You just have to cast something that's not in your hand, which is happening all the time.
I could see people doing some goofy stuff. That one I'll give more credit to because I'm sure someone with a bigger brain than me can figure out a way to make it hit the bin more. I assume it's just going to be slotted into Hogak somewhere.
Sure.
I know the list is already pretty tight, but like I'm sure I could see giving up 1 or 2 creatures for a couple of these.
Well, you're gonna want them in like multiples, right? Like this is gonna play like an Arc like Phoenix. You're gonna want to get
Would you rather have Bloodghast or this?
Obviously, this can block blood. I mean, they both can't block. Like Bloodcast can never block. This card can't block the turn that it comes out of the graveyard because it comes into play tapped. But the fact that it's a 3/1 with Death Touch, you can't just ignore it. Like it's whatever you block with is going to die, assuming it doesn't have first strike. Whereas Bloodcast, if you have a 3/3, you're just like, all right, block your Bloodcast, nice 2/1.
So whereas, would you put this in over Bloodcast?
I don't know. There's a world for this card. I just don't know where it is. But I think if I'm gonna play this card, I'm gonna play it alongside like Gravecrawler because that's just free to do that, and then possibly like Buried Alive effects because I know there was for a small stint before Modern Horizons 2, there was an Arclight Phoenix Buried Alive deck that existed, and that obviously worked out well because you get 3/2 flyers with haste. But that also required you to do so many more things in one turn, whereas this is just like
do
one thing that you want to do. So I don't know. Again, what does the deck look like? I don't know, but you could do it. Works off like Miracling cards, you name it, and then any kind of cast. Like it works with Flashback, right? So this works with Lava Dart. Like that seems really good. Like, oh, I'll sack them out and bring back 3 guys. I think this is where that card goes.
Yeah, but you have to figure out how to fit it in where you're gonna mill it.
Right, you would play like you'd play like Buried Alive,
or you just make a weirder version of the Hogak deck.
Yeah, you just self mill. It feels like it just goes in dredge. The only downside to this card is that Endurance exists, and because that card's like it's just everywhere. Yeah, you're just like, oh cool, got blown out again.
And by that I mean I love playing Endurance and have it in 2 of 3 of my decks.
Yep. So again, there's so many different cards in here. Like I didn't go through all of them. I just like there was some ones that like really intrigued me, and there's just a ton going on here. They're exclusive. Like there are cards that you're gonna absolutely want for EDH, like Bloodthirster, which is just if it attacked a player, you get to have an additional combat step. It just can't attack the same player again. So eventually,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just go around the horn.
Yep. You're like, I'll send you for 20 on tap my creatures. Send you for 15. Do whatever you gotta do. It's pretty sweet. So, there's other stuff in here too. The worst deck is easily the Tyrannid one. The whole mechanic is X spells, and you get like 1 million of them. But
yeah, well, I like dumping my mana a lot.
Yeah, I pulled off the few of the other cards. I was trying to figure out how some of these other ones worked. I wasn't sure, but like this one right here, it's 1 in. So green and 1 for his name is Necros. He's a 2/2. And basic lands you control have tap, add 2 colors, spend this only X cost. I don't know where that gets played into. It's just like a neat card for like Hydras and EDH. I don't think it's really
super weird. I mean, again, someone out there might be able to break it. It sure ain't me.
Yeah.
Good luck. I hope you can find a really good spot for it. It seems like a fun card.
Yep. Then there's this guy right here who's a 1/1 flyer that you can pay 1 tap, sacrifice another artifact, draw a card, and then it has Unearth. So like that card's like all these cards are like something I just want to keep an eye on. Talk Screen, I think this one works with Dark Depths. So if you have this in play and you play Dark Depths, your Dark Depths comes in with no counters, then you remove this, the Dark Depths gets active.
Yep. It's the same way that Blood Moon works.
Yep. So
I think it into a thing with no effects.
Yep. This also like turns off all your opponent's like nonsense over there. So
but it requires you to play a 4-mana creature.
It's probably Feces. This is just something that, again, I was like, interesting.
Some goofy stuff.
And then you got this card, which seems ridiculous because it just gets all the activated abilities of all artifact cards in your graveyard. So obviously, just this card alone can tap for 1 million mana, and then you find a way to untap it, and you just can go that way with it. It's all just built in one single creature. You don't need you just need things in the graveyard. So I think that's pretty good. And then the other card that I was looking at, and I don't think this is good because do they still play Thragtusk? The Veteran Explorer decks?
Yeah, I haven't seen that deck in a while.
There was a point where they were playing that stuff. I don't think it's very good either. But this old 1-eye, which is just a 6 mana, 6/6 trampler that gives other creatures trample. When it enters the battlefield, they make a 5/5. And then at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may discard 2 cards. If you do, return this card back to your hand. So it's just like it's 11 power for 6 mana. Probably nowhere near good for like Legacy. I just like the idea of being able to blink this, and it just keeps making 5/5s.
Yeah.
Probably not good enough, but it's just, again.
Nope. I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
Get that out of here.
All right. So we had the Unfinity come out, and man, people do not like the idea of having stickers and or concession stands and or goofy stuff like dice rolling just all over the place.
I need my extra deck, man. Just give me the Yu-Gi-Oh! Extra deck.
Oh yeah. So the big one that kind of tipped off like the entire conversation was Space Balerion, which is obviously a play on words of Jace Balerion, but it's 2 white blue and it has Space Sculptor. When it comes into play, it creates 3 zones of alpha, beta, and gamma. And then if a creature isn't assigned to a sector, or I should say, I'm just going to refer to as zones. If it's not assigned to a zone, its controller assigns it to 1. Opponents assigned first. So they go, let's say if you have 3 creatures and I have 2 creatures, you can put 3 creatures into gamma, and I can put 2 creatures into alpha, which plays with its abilities a little bit later on. But
I want to play against the manliest guy at F&M.
Yeah.
Manly macho man.
Mm-hmm.
Because he will always put everything in the alpha zone.
Yeah.
I'll always beat him because I can just put it in the beta zone and he'll never come there.
We're here to body you, fool. Dude. So people are already upset about, like, I don't want to put my creatures in zones. I'm like, okay, it doesn't even matter until he +1. So creatures in each sector can be blocked their turn only by creatures in the same sector. So you +1 it, obviously the first turn, and it's like this pseudo unblockable game, right? They put 1/1/1. You can put your best creature against their worst creature, and then vice versa. It can kind of hurt you as well.
Yeah, this card reminded me that Card Wars existed because they had a lane system where there was 4 lanes, and you would summon your guys in a specific lane to attack, which is very much in the same idea that this card is.
Yeah. Man,
what's the minus?
The minus is you put a 1/1 counter on each creature in a sector of your choice. So not just your creatures, everybody in the same sector. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. And then
that's fun for EDH.
Yeah, and then the -5 destroy all creatures in a sector of your choice. So yeah, it's cute.
It's not good, but it's fun.
It's just like this annoyance where you just like lay out. I remember the alpha, beta, and gamma from Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like, oh, I got my zone placers.
Oh, that's pretty great. I wondered why you linked that. I was like, what is this for?
Yeah, and it's actually alpha, beta, and gamma.
That's pretty great.
I'm like, okay, do you want it over here or over here? So, yeah, this card's not good, but people are upset that they're forced to do things. But this was the same as true for Planeswalkers, The Sky's Falling. When flip cards came out, the same argument was made, like, oh, I can't believe that they're doing flip cards.
I think that's the biggest thing about EDH that I have started to like, is that I don't care. I don't need to play hardcore Magic when I'm playing EDH.
Yeah.
Play Space Balerion.
Yeah.
I'll have fun no matter what. Like, goofing around playing dumb cards like this is everything I want.
I think that's the spirit of EDH. Anybody who takes EDH seriously, like Cutthroat, I'm gonna say you're a buffoon. Just CDH is for buffoons.
I just will never do that.
It's just
a buddy of mine. Yeah. This is not playable in any legacy vintage EDH. Sent me a card that they revealed called Phone a Friend. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
Tony, I'm calling you every Sunday when I'm playing 5-color and I play this card. It's call someone and ask them to choose one. If they don't answer, an opponent chooses.
Oh, nice.
And then it gives you like a list of 4 things you can do.
Hold on, is this like a new Infinity card?
Yeah, it's A, gain control of target creature you don't control, so it's 5 mana, 2 blue, 3 colorless.
Sure.
B, choose target creature you control, create 2 tokens.
Yep.
C, take an extra turn after this one, and D, draw 7.
Yeah.
So you better be ready. On Sunday mornings, I'm going to be blowing up your phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to snapcaster it and call you again.
All right. Well, what did you have last time? I want B. What's your opponent got? Yeah, it's a pretty annoying. Like,
you can't know any. It says on there, don't explain anything else. Just ask.
A, B, C, or D. I'm gonna pick D. You get that BD.
Oh man.
So
bad deck. Is that what that stands
bad
for?
deck energy, baby. I got that BDE. That's perfect. That should be our team bad deck. Bad deck
Bring
energy.
Back team bad deck.
No, BDE the evolution. BDE bad deck evolution. Actually, BDE.
Great.
Yeah. So, there's obviously some cards that care about like the height of whatever. It's really bizarre. But those cards are so the way that Unfinity works is there's stamps. There's two different stamps you can see. The acorn stamp, if anything is stamped with an acorn, it is not legal in any internal format, which includes like legacy and EDH. If it has a normal stamp, it's a rare or higher, and if it doesn't have a stamp, it's obviously legal. So those other two things are legal, and there's a lot of confusion with that because when I post these cards on socials, the immediate thing is, well, thank God they're not legal. I'm like, but this one is.
Like, sure, those two aren't, but that one is.
I was like, yeah, this one is. I just from now on, I'm only posting cards that are legal because the acorn cards, I have no interest in them.
I mean, my problem is, as you know, I enjoy playing with Magic's rules a bunch and doing a bunch of weird things within the Magic rules.
Yes.
The acorn cards tend to be cards that have to do with like dexterity or doing something that isn't like normal for a Magic game.
Yeah, what are you wearing? How old are you? What's your height?
Yeah, like jump this card over another card.
Yeah.
Put this on your head and balance it. It's like, I don't care.
Right.
But when it comes to things like that one card that you pulled up, I don't know where it is. I know you had it on your little podcast. Yep, there you go.
Exchange
of words.
Yep.
2 blue and a colorless. Exchange of words enters the battlefield and its enchantment. Choose 2 target creatures for as long as exchange of words remains on the battlefield. Exchange the text boxes of the creatures.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare to keep. Well, kind of a nightmare to keep track of.
Yeah.
And it's like in the rules to a degree because you think of something like Thespian Stage that copies a land ability.
Oh my God.
That's what I mean though. Is like it's very much still in the rules of regular Magic. It's just a different way to do it.
So there's some like serious chaos you can do with it, and this might not be something in Legacy, but more EDH where it's like you animate it like a Mutavault, and then you have another creature that does something. You switch that with this ability, and then use Thespian Stage to copy the land ability.
And it becomes a creature land. And
then it like keeps it like this is going to be a disaster for Magic Online if this ever gets played. Yeah, I think
I don't know how they're going to program it.
It's more or less like this card could, like there's a world where this could be playable, right? Like
that's what I'm saying. I'm sticking one into that deck. We'll talk a little bit later about it, but I'm sticking one of those in the deck that I'm making just because.
Well, you can target it's not you control. You can target one of their creatures and your creature. So you can like, here's I don't know. There's got to be a negative creature out there that you're like, all right, we're gonna exchange these. I'm gonna give you this, and I'm gonna take your Murktide ability, like stuff like that. I wonder what it refers to in just text box. I don't think it refers to power and toughness, does it? Is that considered the text box?
If I flicker the creature, would it come back with the effect?
I think it would. I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because it enters.
Says, choose 2 target creatures for as long as this remains. Those text boxes are changed.
Yeah, what it's referring to the original targets. It's like if you were to fatal push something and you flickered it. The fatal push is no longer targeting like the same thing, and that this text box wouldn't be referring to that. I don't know how that works for the other thing, but it feels like it can't unchange it, right?
Because I would love to know if I could like give them a leveler and then flicker the leveler.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, there's something that you can do with it that's going to be degenerate. There's got to be some kind of creature that has like a horrible upkeep cost that's like sack 4 islands or something. And you're like, all right, here you go. One of those like old school Leviathans, some trap. There's something out there that's just horrendous, and it's like cumulative upkeep.
Again, so if the creature dies,
yep.
Does the creature that exchanged still keep the old creature's text box?
Yeah, it only refers to for as long as exchange of words.
So if I swap a Dragon Rage Channeler and a Murktide,
yep.
Dragon Rage Channeler now has flying officially. And has the ability whenever you exile a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the Murktide dies.
Yep.
My Dragon Rage Channeler still has the Murktide ability.
Yep. It keeps it. And then I don't know what happens when the exchange of word exits the battlefield because there's nothing to exchange it back, if that makes sense.
It says as long as it remains, they are exchanged. So once it's gone, they undo.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying if I remove the creature, if I bounce a creature, shouldn't it still have the text box when it comes back in?
I don't know. This is good.
It's still there.
Yeah, this is one of those cards that is just like horrible.
All right, bro. You better get ready for questions on this one.
I mean,
I'm playing it.
this is like the one that's gonna break Moto the most. If they allow this on like MTGO, all you're gonna see is just MTGO just like constantly crashing because it's gonna get like. It feels like such a messy card, but it might just be simple. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but it feels so messy because it's just like, well, this thing left, and then it's trying to remember what the previous thing was that exchanged it, and then all of a sudden this leaves play, and then it's trying to do that. I mean, you're better off playing like this card with like flicker form, so you can constantly exchange things just to make a disaster out of the field.
I found out that when you mutate onto a token, if you create a copy of the token with like proliferate, however you say that.
Yeah.
The token copy has the abilities of the mutated copy.
Right.
So it keeps like if you hit someone, draw a card or whatever.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Whatever ability it has.
Yeah.
I thought that was goofy.
Yeah.
I did not know that worked that way.
Mutate is
also weird.
It was one of those things that they should have just did what they did with Bestow, where it just gains like everything about it. But for whatever reason, Mutate was like this weird ability, and it's like you pick the top creature and then it gets all the abilities on the bottom, and then like the power. Anyways, the design of Mutate was like really disastrous, and the fact that I think it can't target humans, right?
Yeah, I hate that.
Such a weird.
When I was trying to build my deck that we're going to talk about later, I realized I was kind of screwed.
Yeah. So this other card, there's two other cards I want to talk about, and the attempted murder. I'll get into that because it sounds like. I don't know if there's a good way to go about that. I've had people suggest things, but anyways, the lost and the damned. It's 1 blue-red for an enchantment. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control from anywhere other than your hand, you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, create a 3/3 red spawn token. This with fetch lands means you play a fetch, you crack it, you get a 3/3.
You get a 3/3. Yeah.
Is this good enough?
Blue-red, so it goes straight into whatever that card is, the one that lets you play a card from the exile.
Oh, expressive iteration?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Same thing.
For sure. So I'm curious, do you think this card has any legs? It's really bizarre, the fact that you can crack fetches and then get 3/3s every turn, or you can get multiple. It's not limited. They didn't do this card dirty at all. It's not once per turn. Mm-hmm. So you can do Snapcaster effects, Exile effects, Lava Dart, whatever. Like all these things, yeah.
Playable 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, it could be. I feel like it could be legacy playable. It's like a 3/3 is not nothing to scoff at.
It's shaky. I would rather play the enchant. If I'm playing red, I'd rather play the enchantment that burns people.
The curse, yeah.
Yeah, that one does way more in most matchups where you'd want something like this.
Yeah.
Because you think of like, what would you put this in against? Like blue white.
This is something you would construct a deck around, right? Like you could do Jeskai. Well, I don't know.
What I'm saying is like, you're playing against a control deck, and that's where you want reoccurring creatures that can constantly hit.
Yeah.
Right, because they'll remove a couple, and then you make some more with like an inevitable threat.
Right. I mean, this does work with Emery. You can constantly bring back like Mishra's Baubles too.
Yeah, you can. I just think it is iffy. I think there are better options in the 3-mana slot for the decks that would maybe want to play this.
You're right. I like that it's blue. Obviously it's pitch fodder to force. Obviously that makes it great. It's susceptible to red elemental blast, which kind of sucks on that part. But
every good card is. Let me tell you right now.
Yeah, it's true.
Any good card is susceptible to red elemental.
If Prismatic Ending didn't exist, I would be way more on this card. But the fact that Prismatic Ending still kind of riddled all over that format kind of puts me off it. Prismatic Ending just does too much to fun cards like this.
Yeah. It's funny that we're talking about red elemental blast because I was building a vintage deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm building Paradoxical, and all the Paradoxical decks run 1 or 2 of the Monastery Mentor. And I was looking at cards because I was like, do I really want to put Mentor in this deck? I don't know if I want to. And then I was like, why wouldn't I just play something like, where is it? Sai, Master Thopterist, where I can get extra draws for sacking worthless artifacts and make a bunch of 1/1s.
Yeah.
Much in the same way that you would with the other one.
Yeah.
Because, it's like whenever you cast an artifact spell, you're just playing a bunch of free artifacts. So
right.
Like obviously Mentor does the same thing, but it buffs up its creatures.
Yeah.
But you can keep the engine going with Psy, and then I realized every deck plays like 2 of Pyroblast main, and that can't target Mentor, and I'm like, oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of the things that exist right now that are like good for Legacy or kind of off meta. It's people are playing, main deck 2 Rebs, and you're like, I'll play a white card, and they're like, oh crap. Like,
Yep. Dude, that's why playing white blue with the 2 main board Mentors is so good, because people are just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was trying to play that
How do I beat this?
I was playing that Displacer Kitten deck, and it's like everybody's got Rebs. This feels terrible. Like it just feels terrible. Like once people get off of like Red Elemental Blast, I'll look more into that again. But that's why I was like trying to, like we were talking about a little earlier before the cast. I want to build Natural Order Bant because it's just like I just want to cast Natural Order and go get Progenitus and be like, good luck.
Yeah, you lose.
Yeah, have fun.
You have no way of dealing with this.
Yep, and I like playing Noble. I love Noble Hierarch as a card. There hasn't been like a world where it's been good for like a very long time.
Yeah, you just play, what is it, Noble? You play 4 of the creature land.
Oh no, it would be 4 Noble Hierarch, 4 Icefang Quaddle, Urrows, just some amount of Urrows in there.
The 1/1, Dryad Arbor.
Oh yeah, you can play one of those. Yep.
You just target Dryad Arbor with the stupid natural order.
Of course.
That's the old school way to doing it.
Yeah, you just keep it in there. You just go and. Yep. I forgot about that card. And then I was thinking about the only thing I'm really playing white for is Swords of Plowshares and Teferi. The 3-mana Teferi.
Those are really good.
Yeah. And then I wanted to play 4X True Name Nemesis, but it doesn't sack to Natural Order.
Yeah, it's not good.
I just feel like a turn 2 True Name Nemesis feels good. But maybe I'm just dreaming.
You go the nasty Days route.
Well, I am playing Days. Come on.
Days and Force of Will. So that way you can protect your combo from other Dazes.
Well, that's why you want the 4 Icefang Quaddle, because you can sack it to your Natural Order, and then you can also pitch it to your Force of Wills. And also it draws cards.
You just sack the Dryad Arbor, and then...
Right, and I'm just saying, in the cases, like, it does two things.
I know.
Draws a card, makes Death Touch, blah, blah, blah.
Options.
All right. Then there's the last card I wanted to talk about. There's other cards that were printed, and I don't know, have you looked at any of the rules for Unfinity? I don't know how, like, any of this stuff works. Like, the stickers... Like there's stickers, and then there's here. Let me pull up something else. There's these right here, which have like the spinny ride.
That is in a deck.
An extra deck.
I don't understand what the numbers are on the right.
So side. I think this is like you roll a dice if you hit 2, 3, or 6, and then on this version 2, 4, or 6, or 2, 5, or 6. So I think this is like dice rolling. So if you roll a dice, you do something. I think I'm not guaranteed, but there's obviously like different variants of it. So if you're like, oh, my favorite numbers are 3, 5, 6, you can play that instead of the 3, 4, 6 one. Blah blah blah.
Weird.
Either way, I think that's how it works. No idea, but that makes sense to me because a lot of the stuff in this set is all based on like rolling.
Go back up.
Sure.
Why is that one spinny ride, the 2, 3, 6 one?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the text differently formatted?
It's because they have flavor text that's different for each one of them.
Oh,
I saw that too. There was a couple other ones that were like really bothering me. I'm like, why is this one shorter and this one longer? Like it's right here. It was like, but I think that's how that works. So I'm assuming there's a visit mechanic, and then when you go to visit, you roll a dice, and I think you roll either a 2 or a 6 and you get something. I think I don't really know. I haven't looked into this at all, but that exists.
We'll find out soon when we make a deck with it.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch people just go, I'm not playing you. Cool. Pick it up. The last card, and I've had a lot of judges that are claiming to be L1s and L2s tell me different answers. So I don't know the actual answer, but there's a card called Attempted Murder. It's black, black, X. Choose target creature. Roll X 6-sided dice. For each even result, put 2 -1/-1 counters on that creature. For each odd result, create a 1/2 blue bird creature token with flying named Stormcrow. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of things that play into this that it's like you can just use even odds, but the problem is it's a dice rolling card that refers to specific numbers, 1 through 6, and if you do it in combination where the die result matters, you do that. So this is like the situation here is I have infinite mana. You can't just say infinite. You have to give it a solid number. I say 1 million. I want to do X equals 1 million. I'm resolving an effect. I'm not taking game actions that keep spinning the wheel, if that makes sense. Like some of the older like legacy combos where they had to change the rule where it's like I'm going to do this combo until the sequence of my deck is Emrakul at the bottom and then kill you like that, right? That's no longer like a thing that you can do because you have to take multiple game actions, and the only way to like it essentially killed that deck because people would be like, I'm going to do this until there's Emrakul only, whatever. This is different because it's all one built-in text box, and there's RNG, generators that only for a dice rolling can go up to the one that's been linked to me. It maxes out at 5,000. You can get 5,000 different results at one time. So you do it that every single time, right? You do it whatever time that makes it 1,000,000. Now it's not slow play.
Please tell me.
Mm-hmm.
200. Is it 200?
What?
No. I'm stupid.
Well, I'm saying if I do it for 1,000,000 and
yeah, it is 200. 200 times you'd have to run that program.
Yeah, you do it 200 times. So you run that program 200 times, right? And you have to mark down each result because let's say if I have a card that cares about the results of the dice that equal to whatever, and there is cards that do that. Everybody's telling me, well, not everybody. Some people are like, well, you can just, it's like a coin flip. You would just use like a coin flip simulator. Well, that's different because obviously you can get whatever, the numbers. And then people are like, well, you get DQ'd for slow play. I'm like, I'm not slow playing. I'm resolving a card effect. Like I have to resolve it. What is the answer here? Do you have any like insight on this?
I mean, I'd be the jackass who would say, I don't trust any program out there. I'd like to roll my dice. I want a physical dice.
So that there's a
could be using a program that has some weird thing, like there is no official program.
Right.
If Wizards comes out with one where they attach it to the
companion app
where it says roll X amount of dice this many times, sure, I'll use that. Until then, I will not.
So let's say that you're rolling dice, right? And the 1,000,000's obviously like an absurd number. You're at a legacy tournament. You're in round 4. Like, does everybody have to wait until you're done rolling to then progress to the next round? Or are you holding up the tournament?
I guess we'll find out when I do it.
Like, there's obviously going to be some sort of addendum to this card because one guy's going to do it, which is going to be either you or I, and we're just going to be like, what's the ruling on this? And most of the time, I think the judge is like use an RNG simulator or whatever, a generator, and then say, okay, that's fine if that's what the judge says. But in the cases where like I need specific die rolls and a card, like it's like, well, if you roll, a 6, add this number to that, and there's no simulator or a generator that does multiple 6-sided die rolls and 1,000,000 quantity. I mean, would it be considered slow play? It seems excessive. But like,
bring a laptop that can do that.
Yeah, like how is this handled? I know like it's an extreme measure, but I mean, if you have infinite mana and this is your only play, and your opponent, I don't know, has.
I mean, I like poking rules in the way the game is played.
Right. I mean, the worst part is even if you go to turns, you're still resolving your effect, and then you get the next turn you would get 500,000 or
perfect
roughly.
Example right here.
Yeah.
Card called Barbarian Class.
Yep.
Says if you would roll 1 or more dice, instead roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest roll.
Yeah, but it's plus 1, so you'd roll 1,000,000 and 1.
Well, no, you'd roll. Yeah. But my problem is you'd ignore the lowest roll, so you'd have to roll every single dice,
right,
and then take out whatever the lowest is.
Yeah. So if you have a single 1, which so like how would that play out? Like let's say you roll until you roll every subsequential 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you stop and then simulate the rest. Like you would roll one dice, you roll like, let's say I rolled a 3 for the additional dice. And then you're like, okay, well now roll dice until you hit 2 or 1. Because once you hit the 2 or 1, you eliminate that and then you can just continue on with the simulator, right?
Yeah.
I think that's how it works. I don't know. This hasn't happened yet. That's like the way to like fix that. But
I just want to be shiesty.
Yeah, me too. I want to force everybody or my opponent across me. He'll probably just concede, but it's more or less like a victory for me. It's like, I'm like, just look at him in the eye. Do you want to play this out and make everybody sit with us for another hour? Like you could do 1,000,000 dice rolls in an hour. That would take days.
Someone in our local legacy group posted the startings of a deck.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Barbarian Class in it, which gives you that extra roll.
Yep.
Win Blade of Frontiers, which is a 2-mana 1/1 that gives you an extra roll the same way.
Yep.
Pixie Guide, which gives you an extra roll the same way. That's a 1/3 with flying for 2. and then has the Comet Stellar Pup, the new card that's a red, a white, 2 colorless. That's a Planeswalker. Comes in with 5 loyalty. It says you roll 1 6-sided die for 0 ability. And then on 1 or 2, you add 2 to it and make 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens, and they gain haste until end of turn. 3 gives you -1, return a card with a mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. 4 or 5 gives you deals X damage, where X is equal to the amount of loyalty counters on it, and then you take 2 off the loyalty counter. And 6 is +1 to the loyalty counter. Do the ability 2 more times. So if you have all 3 of those out, and this card, there is a 51% chance on the first go around that you
can infinite.
Basically go infinite. Because like after that, it's like a 90% chance, and then you're at like 100% chance.
Yeah.
Because it removes the lowest roll, so they did the math on like rolling 1, 2, 3, 4 dice and taking out the 3 lowest rolls.
Jeez.
As like a 52% chance for you to just get 6 and then do it forever.
Yeah, essentially you're doubling the amount.
Then win because you just hit 4 or 5 at some point.
Yeah.
And you're ticking them up over and over.
That's so funny.
Shoot them for a bunch.
So they have 2 different versions of this, and I'm trying to distinguish the difference between this one and this one.
What do you mean?
Like, this is number 275, and then 526. Is there something?
Hold on. Go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which one am I looking at here? Let me get the one that I'm looking at, and I'll pull this other one up. That way you can see side by side.
Yeah. Split view this.
I can't tell unless one is a different foiling process.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Might be like etched or something.
Yeah, that's probably it. All right, cool. But this card is great.
Comet Stellar Pup, gonna make a deck out of it.
Yeah.
Play not Bant. What's the blue white USA Control with dice rolling.
Yeah, just get all the nonsense that you can in there. I don't know if they have anything about this. I don't want to pre-order it, but I just want to see. Is there anything that says like a rules about this? So there's a galaxy treatment, I guess, and then
that'd probably be what it is.
Yeah. Also, this set. So I mean, we talked about this in a much earlier cast, but this set also has like unbelievable versions of lands and also full art shocks, which are going to be highly desired, and it's kind of the figuring. Okay, goodbye silver border. Okay, stickers. All right. I just want to see what the attractions do. Attractions represent all rides, games, and shops you make. Okay, whatever. And they're played in a deck called the Attraction deck. So there's your extra deck. Okay. Okay. Is this? Anyways. Attractions are artifacts, but you'll notice that they don't have a mana cost. They aren't cast. In fact, they never even go to your hand. To get them from the attraction deck, you'll need a card that uses like go visit an attraction.
Ability to go get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you've opened up an attraction, put the top card of your attraction deck on the battlefield face up, so it's random. Cool. I love that. Each attraction has lights numbered 1 through 6 in the lower right. In fact, different versions will have all the same, whatever.
Yeah. So 1 will never be lit up. 6 will always be lit up.
Yeah. Okay. And at the beginning of your first main phase of each turn, roll to visit your attraction by rolling 6-sided dice. Okay, there you go. Done.
Yep.
And then you trigger.
So I can make any kind of attraction deck that I want.
Yeah. This is an acorn one. I want to look at one. Just the scry one. 3, 5, 6.
Scry?
Yep. I don't know how this like extra deck of attractions are going to be, but it sounds like you have to pick 6 of them, and it looks like you can pick 6 of the same one.
And you don't have to randomize either.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like if you pick 6 of the same one, because they have like this one has 6 different versions, like 1, 2, 3. I wonder how that works.
Well, yeah, but you could also just stack it in a way that you'd be like, all right, I want this attraction earlier in the game. I want this attraction later in the game.
Or just one. I only have one on my extra deck.
No.
Yeah, but
what is this card? Wizards of the Blank.
Oh, it's a
playable card.
It's also legal. Yep. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield, you may put a name sticker on it, so you get to put one of those, and then look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of unique words or unique vowels on that sticker. Put one of those cards in your hand, and then there's some. Okay. So.
Oh my God.
Also, you include Y on this one, so that's pretty.
Is that going to be my sticker? Is it going to be my sticker creature for this deck?
And then obviously, this card's that people outside the game is like a feature of this, which is great because you'll be calling me.
I was going to say, I'll be calling you every Sunday morning when I'm playing 5 color.
Yeah. So We can go right into this. So you and I were talking about making this deck, and the deck that we want to create is just a deck of the most obnoxious things, basically keeping track of every counter. I think you were trying to build a Yorion version. I'm building a Lutri version so I can try to get the maximized amount of cards in there as one-ofs, because it kind of forces that. So that's going to be my companion, and then using like energy, morph, foretell, like everything that just puts all these things in different zones all over the place, just kind of like these trash mechanics.
I guess if you're trying to do that, Lutri is probably the best. If you're trying to make a somewhat playable deck,
it will be playable. It will be great.
Yes, you can play it. Should you play it?
Well, it won't be consistent.
We'll find out when people don't want to play. Okay, yeah. I need to tell you the best card for Graveyard Matters that you should be playing.
Yeah.
Phyrexian Furnace, for sure.
I gotta read that card. Okay.
It is a 1-mana artifact that says tap it, exile the bottom card of target player's graveyard.
Oh, okay. This is like an old. I've seen this in Yeah, I've seen this.
And so the reason why is because it's actually an okay card. Like there are cards that people play nowadays that do something somewhat similar.
Yeah.
Well, so it's not bad.
You also have to announce to your opponent, hey, don't. I have a card in here that I can tutor with Urza Saga.
Yep. At the start.
wait.
Hate you instantly.
Wait a minute. I've already laid out my energy tokens, my poison counters, my 4 different zones. But by the way, just when you pick up your graveyard, just make sure that you keep it in the same sequence.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna beat me no matter what. If you're gonna be playing like poison in there too.
No, it's just there's a card that really has. In fact, I'm just trying to keep like everything. Either way,
you want everything. I don't know if I can go that far.
Yeah.
I definitely have Daybound. Graveyard Trespasser is a great card.
Yep, there's that one or the Celeste. The Celeste draws cards too when it goes from night to day. Draw and discard.
You should definitely play Sea Octopus for your mutate.
No, I found a better one. I like it returns target instance or sorcery when you mutate.
Yeah, but it costs like 10.
No, it's a hybrid. Is it? So it's only 2 mana.
Oh, okay.
The problem is, yeah. It's
I'm trying to think what else is really weird. I'm definitely playing 1 Exchange Words because I need to.
Yep. I got a Space Balearian in there, so we have to do the 3 zones. I have an adventure card.
Oh, are you playing 5 color?
No, it's right now it's Esper.
Oh, okay.
So I got Archon of Cruelty, and then also with Archon of Cruelty, I have Shallow Grave, so I got to make sure that I set that up.
Oh, is this your deck?
Yeah, it's Entomb, Force Negation, Daze, Counterspell, all this stuff. Saw it coming, Path, Mishra's Bauble, Urza's Bauble.
The companion I was going with was Obosh.
Yeah.
So I was trying to it's really tough to limit yourself to odd costed guys.
Yeah.
I've done it. I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Like Brazen Bower definitely cheats.
Yeah.
It's 3 mana, but it's also 2 mana.
So this deck it's got 2 humans in it, which is unfortunate. All right, let me get the
3. Graveyard Trespasser's human.
When it flips, is it?
No, but once it flips back, you just lose the ability.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, because I was curious how the flips work.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, if I do that to the flip side, what happens when it flips? And it reads that the mutate stays on the flip side, so if it flips back, it stays mutated.
Yeah.
But when it's on the other side, it just doesn't have the ability.
Yeah, it's a Lizard Beast for 3 mana. It's a mutate. When this creature mutates, return target instance or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Lord,
I don't know,
Daxus.
man. I still think
it's probably the Sea Octopus has got
I still
flash.
think the Octopus is way better.
I don't plan on
flash.
Yeah,
that's the important part.
Yep.
And you can randomly just draw a card, which people hate.
Yeah, that too. So this is
Thanks for the free card, dum dum.
So I haven't finished Flesh. I still need 6 more cards to put in this deck. It's got the attempted murder in there.
What the heck is your poison?
I haven't found it yet. It's gonna be probably 1 blighted agent.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
Why not just use?
I gotta get an Aether Hub in here.
The Manland.
Oh, Ink Moth.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea. It's probably better than blighted. Yeah.
I mean, it's bad for your mana base, but whatever.
Oh, I got this Aether Hub, so I have to.
Oh, that's lame. Get that Aether Hub out of there. Hold on. I actually found
good energy
you ever
card.
heard of a card called Dynavolt Tower?
Yeah, I have. Every time you cast
instant mana.
Yep, you cast instant sorcery, you add energy to it, and then you can bolt something when you remove X amount of energy counters.
Dude, if I have Obosh on the field, that thing does 6 damage.
Whatever. I'm playing Aether Hub because
that's a terrible one.
It adds 2 of mana I need.
It adds 1, and you'll use it immediately.
Crap.
That's why it's bad.
Well, I gotta find something that proliferates.
Gross.
Yeah. I mean, this deck is obviously not meant to be something real. I'm just trying to make it like pseudo-competitive, meaning like
you play good cards.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be just complete trash, but
Don't play Shallow Grave.
Yeah, I'll play the other one that you suggested, and then I can get then I can get sagas in here. But yeah.
Dude, you will have a mess of a mana base. 3 color playing Saga.
Yeah.
In Legacy, where Wasteland's real.
I don't care.
Don't forget, you gotta leave space for a sticker guy and a
I gotta get
attractions guy.
I got an attractions guy, lifetime pass holder. Got him in there already.
Which one's that?
That's the one where when it dies, you open up an attraction, and then when you roll to visit your attraction, if I roll a 6, it returns to the battlefield. It's just 2/1 with tap.
I am definitely playing that guy.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's the easiest one to get.
It's super good.
Yeah, he's sweet.
And it fits right into my Grixis.
Yeah, so that I was like, oh, I already got my attractions guy.
You're playing Crystalline Giant? Yeah. I was wondering what you were going to use to bring
different death cost, hexproof, lifelink counters. Yeah.
Roll a dice and choose one.
Here we go.
I guess I gotta stick one of those in there too. Alright, I'll put it on the list. Won't be good, but it'll be there.
You gotta get this Megamorph Stratus Dancer. It flips and targets instant sorcery, counter it. It just has.
I don't know half of these cards. That's the problem.
Yeah, I played with all these. So
I knew Crystalline Giant, but I just forgot about it. It's a really good option.
So you got Morph, and then you need your Foretell card, which is just saw it coming. So you have a Morph and a Foretell Zone. They're just both these face down areas. Yeah, I mean, I know the deck is trash. I don't care. I have it in Tomb, so I might be cutting it.
Saw it coming.
Yeah,
it's such a good option.
Yeah, I think it's the best one. I mean, there's probably a different one that you could play.
What is your morph?
My morph is Stratus Dancer.
What the heck is that?
It just when you flip it up, it counters target instant sorcery spell, and it's a 2/1 flyer for 2, and then also it's
Can't
also
play it. Costs 2 mana.
Oh, get boned.
Costs an even number. Can't play it.
All right, man. So. Josh,
oh, man, I can't wait to put these decks together and play them.
I just want to build it, and then I'll take it to a Legacy night, and then
lose and feel good.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, I got my sticker card jetpack. Oh. God. The best part is,
where's there a jetpack on that sticker card?
It says jetpack.
Yeah, I see the word.
Dude, I don't know which one of these is death and which one of these is seltzer. Yeah, I don't really know. They have power and toughness too. These don't so this whole thing makes like no goddamn sense to me. We'll see when it happens and action play, but all right.
Oh,
Let's see if there's anybody in our
That's
chat.
Enough. We'll have a fight night between me and you. We'll just have a funsy.
Yeah.
Off night where we'll play on cam.
Yeah, I don't think there's
1v1.
The commander route. So if anybody's in our chat, if you have any questions, now's your time because we're coming to the end of the show. I don't think there's going to be anybody.
Have you been ignoring chat like you always do?
No, nobody has been in here.
Good.
Jeff,
please.
Jeff was in here.
Okay.
He was talking a little bit, but I don't think there's anybody in there. That's fine.
Sick.
All right, man. No, we're doing. I don't think we need to do a hot take other than Unfinity is going to be great for Legacy.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Gonna ruin the format.
Wait, what do you got for your thing?
What thing?
Weird thing.
What weird thing?
Your hot take or whatever.
Oh, it was. I should have said the Tony's Clout. I made that post about the murder. The card.
Oh, about the crow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just terrible mechanic.
Well, it was really bizarre because people were getting frustrated. It's like I am asking like an honest question. What happens? And everybody's like, "You'll get DQ'd." I'm like, I don't know how it works. I'm asking. Like, if I'm not allowed to play this, tell me now.
Yeah, I'm not messing with people. I just want to understand what we would do to
let me know
this.
Yeah, can I extend the tournament by 3 days? Claiming $1 million, and then my opponent not wanting to concede. Yeah, what if he's got? I don't know what he could have. There's some weird interaction that might matter that I need the creatures versus like I need to get 500,000 creatures versus 500,000 -1/-1 counters. Yeah, well, anything that's like Acorn, I have just no interest in. I'm sure it'll be fun for a second, but all that, like we talked about earlier, all that.
The real on is like whatever.
Yeah, I just want to play Wizard of the, and then this. I'll have to play this card, right? Because it goes and gets a sticker.
I can't play that card.
Yeah, you can't.
It's an even mana cost.
You fool. All right, man. That's it. We're gonna wrap up as a cast.
Yep.
Insert fart noise here and.